That works.
What's up? And welcome in to the People's Commission. I got the evil commissioner with me on a Tuesday night, one of the busiest days we've seen in the league in quite a while. We're both going to be speaking a little bit lower because it's after 9 p.m., so we have sleeping children in the house. But we did want to make sure we hopped on just to react to all of the madness that happened today, touch on some of the trades we hadn't talked about yet, and give a quick reaction to some things that happened in week one. But first and foremost, Joey Z, what's up?
What's going on? I mean, what a day. The
What a
chat,
day.
the chat was getting loosey goosey with it today. It was good.
It was fun to see.
It was. Yeah, Jeff and I pretty much negotiated a deal intra chat.
Right. I mean, you guys were teasing it to the group like we're something's going down right now. It was
Right.
wild.
Good day.
Yeah, I talked to him a little bit on the side, getting Barkley. That was a big motivator for him. So it was cool to see him get it done. But just going back to last night, and my trade that started it with Bennett, it's like the 24-hour periods that randomly happen in this league like this that really make it a lot of fun. Even the guys that weren't trading, everybody's talking, everybody's thinking, they're looking at their teams. So we'll jump into just the trades that happened. We'll go actually back before just the last 24 hours into the ones we hadn't discussed since the last pod. And then we'll give just a little bit of a reaction to what it means for the mix up or the makeup of the league and kind of any impact that we saw from week one. So let's go all the way back. We won't even waste time talking about my Derrick Henry trade because I already traded him away. We can talk about it when we talk about my more recent trades. But let's talk about your trade with Lee, Kelsey, and Joe's 2026 second for Jeff's 2025 first, Cybulski's 2023 second, and Zeke. So I'll frame it up through the lens of um, you trading away probably one of the more valuable short-term assets because he was an extended contract, but had to be hard to part with Kelsey.
Yeah, I mean, best tight end in the league. I love Kelsey. It was just one of those things where it's like I felt like if I didn't trade him now, I don't know what I could get from him in the future. So getting Zeke, which is probably worth like a second, but it helped me have a running back, and now I could trade Barkley. Like I don't know, just felt like I had to take the deal. Or if Kelsey gets hurt, I got nothing.
Just from a strategic standpoint, when you make a deal like that with a team like Lee, do you give any thought to like what you're giving them, or is it solely is the value worth it?
Um, I mean sometimes, but like trading Kelsey, I'm basically saying I'm not going to be a top team this year, and I'm either going to be a mid tier team. So like I didn't care who I gave it to.
Yeah, yeah. Because I mean, you
But
look
like,
look at what it did for Lee. I mean, it
oh,
it it shored up the last question mark, right? And this is pre week one, so I mean, he had some injuries, whatever. We can have that conversation in a minute, but
he gets the number one tight end to pair with the number one running back.
right,
It's
right.
pretty good.
It is pretty good. Yeah, but it's a move that I mean, I don't have any like
Yeah.
qualms with him making it either because if you can go get that top spot for the tight end position, I think you go get it. So, how did
And
that go
then,
down? Did he reach out about Kelsey? Was it a long
oh yeah,
negotiation or?
he sent me a text. I think I need Kelsey. And then once I had that, I was like, okay, a deal's happening.
Yeah, I love that.
I mean, that
Okay.
Cebulski's pick really put over the edge for me. It was after Joe had sold, so I know Joe's going for 2023 picks.
Yeah.
Um, and
Yeah.
so that, I mean, it's a top end second rounder, so I like that.
Yeah, I like that too. Okay. We can kind of bunch these next two together because I think that they deserve to be talked about in unison because they were just symbolic of Musk saying, okay, fuck it. Like, this is
Yeah.
it. We're going all in. But acquired two pretty awesome players. So the first they got from you, and that was Jeff's 2023 first, Musk's 2026 first, and Russell Gage for Nick Chubb. And then they turned around and paid a 2024 first and Kenneth Walker, which is interesting. That was their first round pick this year for AJ Brown. So essentially, AJ Brown and Nick Chubb for three firsts, their first round rookie from this year. So kind of like four firsts, top end
Or
rookie, and
first
then
for AJ Brown and Chubb, basically.
right, and then yeah, yep, Russell Gage thrown in there.
But I mean, those
Thoughts?
guys are on multi-year deals. I don't hate it.
Yeah, I mean, neither of them are a short-term rental. They're both really good players. I was high on AJ Brown going into the year. Did it make Musk good enough to
That's
justify it?
that's the question. He's certainly not the top echelon.
You don't think?
I mean, I think he's definitely not like Saucon Lee level.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. So, do you put it? Would you put him third?
No,
Like,
I'd probably put Jeff and then Vince, then Musk.
ooh, okay, all right,
I
yeah. I
mean, he's
mean,
got holes still.
right.
He's starting.
You look at his team right now. Um, yeah, I mean, he's starting Michael Thomas and Rashad Bateman with AJ Brown. So,
Well, he's sitting DK.
right.
Like James Robinson, the flex. I don't know. Elijah Mitchell injury hurts him. I mean,
Sure.
he's a content. He's a playoff team, but like
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
still
yeah.
he's running out of assets though. That's the problem.
Right. And you think he's got to make more moves if he's going to be there at the
I
end?
mean, he's done an insane turnaround. Absolutely, it was like good deals for him. I think.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't want to feel like we're selling him short. I think he's pulled off some
Absolutely not.
pretty awesome deals to get good players. Okay. All right. What was the next one? All right. Well, that takes us right into yesterday. So, I'll just say, I'm not going to grade my own trades or whatever. I know that there was a bit of an uproar after the first one, but I didn't have any plan. Like everybody's probably thinking that I'm just overreacting to week one, and my God, I put up 55 points, so I'm going to sell my entire team and change, kind of my focus for the year. But you and I talk about this all the time. If somebody comes to you with a deal that's too good to pass up, then you take the deal and you adjust afterwards. And that was kind of what happened with Alex. He came and made it clear that he was really interested in Tyreek. He came with a couple really good offers first and foremost that I said no to because, like I said, I was committed to competing this year and I still thought that I could do that after week one. And then he offered me something that I wasn't comfortable saying no to, and that's what got the deal done. So yeah, I mean, I'll just leave it at that. The word collusion was thrown around. I don't think it was that egregious of a trade. It's hilarious the way people react sometimes to different trades. But Alex got a player in an A contract at $60, and he paid AJ Dillon a first. So it was Tyreek Hill for AJ Dillon, a 2023 first, which was my own, and then his 2023 second.
All right, so hold
Um,
up. His 2023 second.
or 2026 second. I think that's supposed to be.
Yeah, I think
That's
so.
why it looks
Okay.
weird. Man, that would have been a really good deal
I
if
was
that
gonna
was his
say
2023 second.
it was the
Um,
2026 second,
it
right?
was the
Yeah.
20 it was. So anyways, it's it's one of those things where people will throw a lot of funny things around, but I think at the end of the day, Alex has guys that he likes. He's not afraid to go and get them, and I think this was one of those instances. But I also think, before I let you give your feedback, what did you get paid for Austin Eckler? I mean, he's a Z contract, and you got Kareem Hunt, two firsts and a second. So, you know, is essentially two firsts and a second that crazy for Tyreek Hill in an A contract? I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think it's like, do I think it's a value deal for Alex? No, but like you can win every trade. Is first is your first and AJ Dillon worth Tyreek Hill? I mean, it's not egregious.
Right. And I mean, from my perspective, like, I mean, AJ Dillon's not a superstar, but having
I,
obviously Aaron Jones is intriguing.
I got two first and Kareem Hunt and a second for Eckler. So like,
And Eckler is in a Z. Alex can keep
yeah,
Reed
right.
for
So yeah,
multiple
I mean,
years.
it's not
That's
that bad. It's just like Alex will go hard for his guys, like you said. I don't have a problem with it.
I
It
know
is what it is.
the
Like,
initial reaction from a lot of people made it seem like it was really bad for
well,
Alex. I feel like that's
everyone's
why
coming off watching AJ Dillon touch the ball. He's a sexy guy. Like,
yeah, no,
I
for
mean,
sure.
but like, would I have paid a first for AJ Dillon? I can't say that I would right now. Like, if you were like, let's do AJ Dillon for first, I'd say no. So
There you go.
that's all you need to know.
There you go. And
Um,
I will say, just to be fair, I do value him higher than a first because the initial offer that I got from Alex was a 2023 first and a later first for Tyreek, and I said no. So I do, because he's a B contract, and he's a 3B, and I don't expect Aaron Jones to be there long term.
Yeah, that's fair.
I view him as a more valuable asset than a first in dynasty, right?
Fair.
But I mean, I don't think it's much more.
No, that's fair.
And I would take a 2023 first for him right now if you're interested. Just let me know.
All right. The second, maybe.
Get out of here. Okay,
All
so
right.
that was the first one. Go
So
ahead.
that's the first domino. That domino falls.
That domino falls, and
Hills off your team.
people start to spiral. But really, I mean, at that point, I don't know. I mean, now I'm like, shit, I just gave away, the difference maker I had at wide receiver, which I will say, I really do think Tyreek Hill has a chance to have a really good year with McDaniel in that offense. I think he's a really smart
Don't forget Tua.
play caller that's going to scheme them open and make Tua outperform his abilities.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I mean, at that point, I went into today just thinking, well, I'm going to have some fun with it now, right? I'll
Yeah.
see what happens. I got my own control of my destiny back, so I'm motivated to not make the playoffs for the first time in a long time. I haven't had the control of my own pick in years, at least not a pick that
Since
was
Dalvin.
valuable. Right, right. Since Dalvin. So yeah, so I didn't go into today saying, hey, I'm absolutely gonna flop and um
Yeah.
move my stars. But I said, you know what, I'm gonna see what happens. People were throwing, I
Put
think
people on the block.
I was just gonna say, I think Chew kind of started it today. He threw a bunch of good players on the block, CEH, Metcalf, James Robinson. So I engaged Chew initially, and he was interested in Henry. So that's what got me thinking about, like, well, what would I take for Derrick Henry, and what would be a reasonable price to pay? And Chew and I went back and forth, almost had a deal done. Not gonna lie, it was close.
Oof.
And then I was like, you know what, like we always talk about, right? If you're gonna do a deal, you might as well engage others too. So I said, I'll throw something out
Yeah.
into the chat. And at that point, I was talking to two people about Henry. Doug was not one of them. Like in the past, the Doug deal took 5 minutes. It was just a easy, open, I think fair for both teams, back and forth. And
yeah.
again, like I'm looking down at the 101 from this year in Brees and another first. And what else did he give me? Josh Jacobs. Yeah, it was got, I mean, I don't love Josh Jacobs, but I got Zamir White. So now I got three backfields locked up. I got six running backs between three teams. I don't know if that's a recipe for success, but I took it. So I'll let you give your thoughts on the second one.
No, I mean, number one pick this year, and a 2026 for Henry. I think that's more than fair. And get Doug's going for it. Yeah, I mean, I get why both teams did it. It's a good deal.
And I mean, I had traded a 2023 first and a 2026 first. It was the one I gave up was Vince's. So I mean, assume that it's a little bit of a later one.
So you didn't lose anything.
Well, no, but what I'm saying is it wasn't that far off from what Doug paid either. So it's like, is Brees worth more than an average first? You could argue either way, right? He was the 101, so maybe he's on the Jets, so maybe not, right? It's like, who knows? So my point was, he kind of gave me back the value that I gave for Derrick Henry just in a player in Brees, and then he threw in Josh Jacobs, which was just like an interesting, whatever, gives me a guy to start for the rest of the year.
Yeah, no, I like the deal for both guys.
Yeah, it was a fun one. And then that led to your deal. And I'll let you tee yours up the way I teed up mine. So today, living through the 24 hours in the chat, are you trying to move Barkley? Where's your head at?
I mean, I love Saquon. I feel like, I mean, don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure I did not put him on the block this whole offseason. Like, 2 years removed from ACL is really when guys perform. Like, I still think Saquon's, Rob, you know this. I put a bet in on Saquon to be the comeback player of the year. I believe in the guy. Yeah. It's just, I mean, fuck. Jeff wanted him and he paid what I wanted him to. So I had to do it.
I mean, he gave you what is almost assuredly a top 4. I mean, it is a top 4 pick next year because Alex is not making the playoffs.
A top 4 and a top 14.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
he did.
that.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I gave him a 2024, but like I really like next year's class. Obviously, everyone knows that.
Yep.
So like I view two top 14 picks, one being a top four, and then Sawkins 2024. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, let's take a step back really quick because we kind of skipped over this aspect of it. We talked about it from our perspective. So we'll start with Jeff and then we'll go backwards.
yeah.
Does the acquisition of Barkley make Jeff a top tier team, or does it do enough for him to justify what he paid?
I mean, I think Jeff was a top tier team to begin with.
Okay.
Um,
For everyone listening at home, Jeff's starting lineup after this trade is Russell Wilson, Jamar Chase, Terry McLaurin, Mike Evans, Javonte Williams, Saquon Barkley, Dallas Goddard, and then Najee Harris in the flex. He also has George Kittle. On the bench, he's got Brandon Cooks, David
David
Montgomery.
Montgomery, like the
Yeah,
guy has got
got some
depth.
depth.
He can withstand an injury and
Yeah.
like be okay.
Yeah, I mean, he's already got one. Najee's
All
questionable.
right.
So,
I mean, if Najee doesn't get hurt, I don't know if Jeff makes the deal.
right,
Right.
right, right.
So,
But you think his team is good enough to win? No doubt about it.
I think so. Between Najee when he gets healthy and Saquon, I mean, Saquon had 80% snap share.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I agree. And Javante,
I
I
love
mean,
Saquon. I hated trading him, honestly.
I
But
mean,
fuck.
he looked really, really, he looked
He
really, really
did.
good. But it
But
does. I mean, Jeff's
if it
team
wasn't Bennett's
looks
pick,
good.
if I didn't get both of Bennett's picks, I probably don't do the deal, honestly. Like Jeff
Yeah,
might have been the only one that could buy him, but get him off my team. Not even buy, like you had to force
sure.
him off my team.
Yep. Yeah. No, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at Jeff's team and reacting kind of on the fly because if we didn't do a lot of prep for this one, I mean, it's a really sound team, especially if if he's got Kittle and if Najee's injury is minor, which it sounds like it is. There's no holes, so a really really good looking squad. Okay, let's go back one more step to the deal that I did with Doug, where he acquired Derrick Henry. Does this do enough for Doug?
Swift looked good,
Uh-huh.
really good.
Yep. And we'll do the same thing. So Doug's starting lineup after the move: Stafford or Brady at quarterback, Cooper Kupp, Mike Williams, Marquise Brown, Swift, Henry, Gibson in the flex, Ertz at tight end. I'm looking if he's got other tight ends on the bench. Nobody else of note, really.
Doug's not as deep.
Right.
Jeff still has a shit ton of picks, so his team could get better in theory. Doug's got no other assets.
Right. Doug essentially sold the house.
Yeah. So, I mean, is Doug's team good enough? Antonio Gibb, that flex spot is nasty.
I know. But at least he has it covered if Robinson takes over when he comes back.
Yeah. I mean, working the waiver wire. I mean, he's a playoff team.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too. I think so too. Um, I mean, he kind of had to make the move if he wants to make a run for it, right? I think from
Yeah.
Doug's perspective, looking at the teams that have swelled up to super teams, he has Cooper Kupp, right? Arguably the best wide receiver in the game. So if you're going to either sell Cooper Kupp, which is hard to do because he's $125, or you say, I got to make a move to compete with these super teams. And let's be real, because of his price tag at $100, Derrick Henry's like the available superstar, right? He's going to get probably moved around throughout this year, like it's just how it goes because no one's going to keep him. So you trade him if you can, if you're not still in it. But I do think if you have Derrick Henry and Cooper Kupp and Derrick Henry stays healthy, like you can beat anybody on
Yeah,
any
you
given
can
day,
win.
any
Yeah,
given day,
you can win.
But I agree with you that the depth piece is not quite there on Doug's team. Let's take one more step back and say
Whose
mindset.
name haven't we talked about?
Well, this Alex. So Alex acquiring Tyreek, right? We talked about the trade. I don't think the value is terrible. Obviously, Alex isn't going for it this year. So he views Tyreek as a long-term asset. Thoughts on that? Thoughts on,
I mean, we're gonna move
the
to
move?
half PPR. It's not the worst move. Hill's
Yeah.
young.
Yeah.
He's in a good offense. If Alex, I mean, Alex has got some 2023 picks, so I mean, he'll pick up
3 of them
three of them.
still.
Yeah, he'll pick up some running backs, so then he'll be able to pair those with his, with Hill. Um, but I mean, Alex knows he's got a uphill climb. He's got Jameson Williams next year, so between Hill, Jameson Williams, and a good running back class, he could do some make some noise.
Yeah, yeah, I think he could too. Needs Trey Lance to be a little better than he was in the
Yeah,
rain in
he does.
Chicago.
Trey Lance
Um,
did not look good.
okay, let's just talk super teams now. So that we kind of talked about the moves that have been made. Um, uh,
I mean,
w-
Lee's stacked.
right. So
There's no
let's
holes.
give your post week one, post all these trades. Give me your initial power rankings. Like, don't overthink it. Just when I say who's the best teams in the league,
Yeah.
who do you think? Number
I
one.
mean, Lee,
Okay.
Sawkin.
I agree. I was interested when you were gonna bring John in. Okay, so you don't think Vinny's number two?
What?
You don't think Vinny's number
I
two
think Vinny's number 4 after all these trades.
after Jeff?
Yeah. I think it's Lee, Sawkin, Jeff, Vince,
Okay.
and then Musk and Doug are a toss up. Probably
Yeah.
Doug. I don't know. I really don't know that one.
I would take
Eh,
Musk. I would take Musk over Doug just
I think
because of that.
Lamar.
Well, yeah, because of Lamar and because of the fact that now Musk finds themselves after week one looking at their depth pieces being pretty highly used with CEH and Robinson. If they can get decent production from those two, then
That's true.
they do have depth.
Yeah. So I put
Um,
Musk, then Doug.
yeah, and then I don't give a shit past then. We all suck. Fuck it.
I-
You're
I'm in
next.
this weird position of having some Z guys
I know
and a
you're
lot of
next.
picks.
People are still gonna buy. You just fucking keep getting more picks. You'll be fine.
If I'm lurking though, week 10, like
100%. One
I
of us
might be
is,
buying.
well, I'm the same fucking way. You think I'm
I
gonna hold
know.
on to this 23 pick just because it's mine? If I win a few games and I'm in it, like you never know.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, okay. So I agree with your rankings. Let's go really quick through them. So Lee, number one, Kyler Murray,
Lamb is
CD
in trouble
Lamb,
this year.
Cortland Sutton, DJ Moore. I mean, his running backs are ridiculous. We all know that. Jonathan Taylor, Alvin Kamara,
His
Fournette. Go ahead.
his receivers are the only soft spot. CD
Right,
Lamb's going to probably not be great for the majority of this year.
right, because of
Keenan
the
Allen's
Dak.
hurt.
Keenan
DJ
Allen's
Moore's
hurt.
quarterback sucks.
Yep.
So he's got
And
Hopkins coming back. That'll help. But like that's a soft spot.
I know it was week one, right? First game, but I got to be honest, I didn't love the Sutton versus Judy usage last night. I mean,
I was shocked by it.
Jerry could be his guy, not even just production wise. I mean, he threw it to him when he was like double and triple covered in the end zone a couple times too. Like Jerry might be the guy he likes better.
Jerry might be the guy.
And I was all over Sutton. I got him in a lot of leagues this year, but
Same.
I will tell you that I didn't like the way that split looked based on week one. Anecdotal,
I
one game.
mean, I'll probably reach out to Lee after this and offer him a trade for Sutton.
In a Z contract in a year that you don't view yourself as a contender. Sounds like a
Well, I'm not selling myself as a contender. Yeah.
great. Okay, so that was your number one team, and I agree with you. Number two team, which I also agree on, and I think it's worth talking about because he had an awesome performance from his stack this week. But John is essentially just living and dying with the Buffalo
Bills.
Bills. So
Yeah.
Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis, Amon-Ra St. Brown, who I think is a really solid wide receiver too. Um, Joe
Yeah.
Mixon, Eckler, Pitts, and then he's got Miles Sanders in the flex. I mean, you could call that position, you could call that a weakness, but man, with the way that the Philly offense is going to be this year, I mean, Sanders could be fine
Yeah.
as a flex,
He should.
truly.
Yeah. I mean, John's got depth too. So,
Yeah, he does. Devonta Smith, Christian Kirk, Woods didn't look great, but I mean, he does have some depth. But I think just in totality, when you look at like what makes the top teams, one of the biggest parts is guaranteed production. John has superstars on good teams. Like Mixon is going to produce, Allen, Diggs, Davis,
Eckler.
Eckler, they're going to produce, So I just don't see, barring injury, him falling out of a top, 3, 4 spot before the end of the year. I just don't see it.
Yeah. Then we got Jeff. I mean, you went through his roster, but Wilson's solid. His receivers are great. Chase, McLaurin, and Evans.
Yeah.
I mean, murderer's row right there. And then his running backs are solid.
Yeah.
Najee, Javante, Barkley.
Yeah. Yeah. I might push back on you with Vinny in this spot. I think that Vinny may be the three and Jeff the four, but I mean it's hard to say with them.
My thing is, I mean, I don't think CMC is CMC of 2019, 2020. Like, he just isn't. So, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's a lot of name brand value. Same with Cook.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
They're
what Why do you feel that about Dalvin?
Delvin Cook is not going to ever go off for 200 yards and 4 TDs again. Mark that down. Like that was Delvin Cook. That's what, like in Vince's mind and some people's mind, like that's Delvin Cook and Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, well, he
Those
got the
days are over.
he got the Lions twice a year too, and that's where he would do it. This ain't
Right.
this ain't those Lions, baby. This is Aiden Hutchinson's Lions.
That's true.
Half a tackle in
I
week
mean,
one.
I think Vince's team is good.
Yeah,
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying I think Jeff's is better. It's got younger stars that could surprise the upside, where Vince's guys are on the decline.
you think though, like Vince? I mean, what if Jerry Judy and Elijah Moore pop? Drake London? I mean, Vinny's got some young guys
He
too.
won't even start him though.
I know that's true. Can I share my exciting stat that I forgot to share with
Go
John's
for
team?
it.
So the production that he got from Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, and Gabe Davis in week one was with Josh Allen throwing only 31 passes. Josh Allen threw 42 or more passes in 80% of the games last year. So
Yeah,
what we saw in week one, I mean, it could be just a scratching of the surface. That team is so fucking good.
that's great.
Yeah, so sorry that I meant to use that. That was fun.
No, I mean, I've been giving shit to Vince, and he knows that. And I've been an open critic.
Yeah. So let's call it what it is. Vince has a little bit of depth because he's got Stevenson, he's got Singletary, he's got Madison, which obviously covers Cook, Judy, and Elijah Moore. He needs to go get a flex, right? ETN should be his first bench running back.
Yeah, or use ETN to get a stud.
Right. Right. ETN and a pick or something
Yeah.
to go get somebody really, really
I
good.
mean, he's sitting on picks just like Jeff is.
Yeah.
Jeff
Like
used those picks to go get Barkley.
right. Imagine Vince's team with Josh Jacobs in the flex. Oh my God.
Holy shit,
Be
dude,
untouchable.
crazy. But for real, Vince could have came and got the same deal as Jeff.
No, I know.
If he offered me first, I would have taken Jeff's if it was between the two. But if Vince came out hot and said I need to get a Barkley, he could have.
Did Vince engage around Barkley at all?
Zero, nothing. Like, dude, Lee isn't selling Jonathan Taylor. Lee's trying to win the league, you know?
Right. Well, that was my point when they were talking about like that in the chat today, and
Yeah,
I made a
like
few texts. I'm like, "Oh, Lee's a seller now." These
yeah.
trades got him scared.
So like for me, I want to see Vince make an uncomfortable trade. That's all.
I know. I know.
Like like he hasn't made an uncomfortable trade, I don't think, in his life.
Right. Right. I mean, he gave me a fair value for Dalvin, but it was all picks, right? Like, when's the last time Vinny said, "Hey, I'm gonna give you a young guy that's got some upside with picks to go get a fucking studs because I'm in." You know.
When's Vinny said, I'm gonna go for it? You know, like this is the time. The time is now.
Right.
You
I mean,
know,
I think
instead he's in the chat saying, well the price of these guys, I might start selling. Like that's where his head's at. You can't win with that mindset. Oh,
oh, Vinny's
Lee's
funny.
already won.
Vinny's funny. I mean, oh, yeah, he is. I mean, he's also starting Dalton Schultz, which, yeesh, I don't know how I'd feel about that right now. Only he knew somebody that had a really good tight end.
I was gonna
So
say, why are you bringing this up? I think Dalton Schultz is decent.
with Cooper Rush at quarterback.
Well, yeah, that's true. Forgot. Sorry, not
Yeah,
anymore.
no, that was why I was saying it because I
I
mean,
forgot.
I like Dalton Schultz preseason too, but I mean, you take Dak out for 6 to 8 weeks,
No, that's
so
true.
that's a
That's
lot of
true.
time.
Hands up. Yeah, I agree. My bad.
Okay, that's pretty much it. We don't need to talk about everybody else's. It's the rest of us. This is fun, man. This was a fun day. I think
Good.
this is the only time that I can think of in the last 5 or 6 years where I really truly felt like, I mean, any year any team can win it. Doug showed us that a couple years ago, but I think this is the first time where I feel like there are like 3 or 4 teams that are just fucking
They're
stacked.
good.
You know, they have to play each other, which is fun, but I don't think I have a chance to beat any of them. It's great,
It is crazy.
but it's cool, right? Like, I don't want to give myself credit, but I kind of started the whole like just fucking go for it thing, right? I mean, I did it.
You did.
Thank you. I thought so too. But no, I mean, I think it's fun. I think it's people saying, okay, listen, the league's going to go through a big change in a couple years. I want to get my name on that trophy before that
Right.
happens. I have these short-term and long-term assets. I'm going to sell some of the long-term ones, stack them on my short-term ones and make a run. And we have a 10-team league. So like that's the fun part is there are enough good players for us to have 4 or 5 really good teams because we're a 10
Yeah.
team league, you know.
It's an interesting. I mean, I'll be honest. Without the rule change in 2024, I'd probably keep majority of my guys.
Yeah.
Like I'm just like being on like
Yeah.
it like the rule change has created a lot of shifting. Like you said, people are going for it. They're trying to line up contracts with the change. Like for me, I'm just trying to sell everything and line up for like super flex and PPR.
Yeah. Yeah.
And my view was I could best do that through picks. So
Yep.
I sold. And
Yep.
I had a fucking crazy team to start.
No, for sure. For sure. Well, as one member of this league informed me this evening, you have 13 picks between now and 2026, and the next closest person has like seven first round picks. That is first round picks.
I guess
Um,
I did my job.
you are always playing the game, my friend. But this was fun. Today was fun. Week one was not fun for me, but this kind of thing reminds me that you don't always have to win in the dynasty league to enjoy it. It's why I love this league so much. Today was energizing, and I don't even know. I don't even think that I'm out of it. Yeah, we'll see what happens, but I had a lot of fun today. I'll tell you that.
Anything can happen. Look at Doug's team from years ago.
I know it's going to be funny to see if we're all kind of, or if there's a couple of us in the mix for that sixth spot, if we're trying to go for it or not. But I mean, you don't know your own fate, so you get to go for it. That's the nice part. Mine will be interesting if I'm,
I own Bennett's pick and he owns mine, so
you know,
could see something happen
yeah,
between us at some point.
no, you could for sure. Well, all right, dude. Well, this was fun. Thanks for
Was
hopping on. Anything you want to leave the people with before we go?
man, Jalen Hurts. I mean, fuck, that guy is good. I mean, I don't pray for injuries, but fuck, do I need Mahomes and Josh Allen to go down so I can cash my Jalen Hurts MVP ticket? That's all I got.
I mean, he is good. You know, I had a prop on him to score a rushing touchdown in week one, and he delivered. The only problem was I didn't hit the other leg, but I do love Jalen Hurts. I wasn't sure if you were doing that to try to like boost him up to sell him right now. I'm like, oh, what are you
No,
doing? I know you want that guy for super flex, so it's interesting.
no, I do.
Yeah,
I simply just want the Eagles to win the NFC East,
right.
and if they went undefeated, I wouldn't be mad.
Right. Yeah. You have so few things that you want. And then you also need like offensive player of the year and MVP
Yeah,
and comeback player of the year and every other award to go your way also. So you just, you have a very short list of
Jalen
asks.
Hurts MVP, comeback player of the year, Saquon Barkley, offensive player of the year, Justin Jefferson. That's it.
Just
That's it.
parlay it right there.
Play it all.
All right, folks. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you in week two. We'll be more consistent with this as the year goes on because Tusk sucks and does nothing, and the pod boys
Tusk,
are
make it
just
tick. Yeah, Tusk needs to do something.
yeah, Tusk, do something.
All right.
Is Tusk even in the league anymore?
I don't know. We'll have to ask Matt.
Matt,
He keeps a hold. He keeps
Matt,
Tusk in a cage. Pay $150 every time they trade a first.
yeah. It just puts the money right through the holes. Matt, make a TikTok, you fucking LA, California weirdo. Bye,
Yeah, for sure.
bye everybody.